Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I am very excited for today's video because I'm gonna do kind of an updated everyday look that I've been loving. And I saw this mini eyeshadow tutorial and I've been playing around a lot with eyeshadow ever since, and I feel like I kind of nailed this everyday subtle but softish glam eyeshadow look that I've been loving. So I'm excited to play around a little with eyeshadow, play with some other makeup. I've been trying a lot of new products lately, and I'm kind of trying to narrow in on building my holy grail makeup capsule. So once I kind of decide what those products are ultimately and I really narrow it down, I'll make a video about that. But since I've been trying a lot of new things, it's been fun to kind of play around and see what I'm loving the most. And I found some of my favorite products ever in the last month. And if you didn't watch my May favorites video, I definitely mentioned some of those products, but I will be playing around with a few of them today. And while we get ready, if you want to get out your makeup and get ready right along with me, I love that. So we can get ready together. And I wanted to talk a little bit about being in a state of limbo, because I feel like that's something I've been experiencing lately, and I'll kind of talk about my journey through that and this transitional period I've been in and the things that I've been trying to implement to stay grounded, because I think we all experience that state of limbo at multiple times in life, and I've really been trying to hone in on what's been helpful for me during this time. So let's get into this look and our life chats. I'm gonna get into my skin prep. As always, the road glazing milk. This is my girl, and I realized they just changed the size of the glazing milk, and I'm peeved at that, but I understand there's a lot going on with the tariffs and everything, and companies are just trying to do what they can for their profits, so I get it, but I just love this stuff. I have 2 bottles on me like at all times. This has been amazing. And lately what I've been doing to prep my skin is something a little risky. I've been taking just like a few drops of oil and focusing it kind of just like in the main areas where I get really dry, like around my nose and under my eyes and in between my eyebrows. I love doing skin prep because I feel like the ritual of it all. I mean, ritual in general, it's why I love getting ready so much. And it's something I definitely will get into in terms of talking about being in limbo too. So with limbo, now I'm just using my Inky List Bioactive Ceramide Repairing and Plumping Moisturizer, still my favorite makeup prep moisturizer. And with being in limbo, I started to think about what that really means. And I feel like for me, there's definitely 2 types of limbo. One type of limbo that I'm kind of in right now is feeling like you're in between 2 big changes, or you're in that waiting period where you know a big change is coming, but it hasn't happened yet. You're trying to figure out what to do with your time and your energy in the meantime. And that's definitely something I'm experiencing right now. My husband and I are moving full-time to Arizona in August, and right now we live mostly in Salt Lake, but we have gone back and forth a little bit, and we'll still come to Salt Lake for like an extended period of time in the summer and breaks and everything because I have family here. But we're moving to Arizona, back into our house in Arizona, and it's the beginning of June right now, so we have some months before that happens. And so I do feel like I'm kind of in this in-between spot of I don't feel like I can really settle more into my home or make where we are more of a home, since we're going to be moving. And I have this remote job that's connected to Utah, but I'm trying to decide if I want to get a job in Arizona or find something remote even in Arizona that's more connected to like an Arizona hospital, because I work for a Utah hospital right now. And there's just a lot of those things where I know all these changes are coming. I know our life's gonna be completely different at the end of August, but I wanna make this time right now that I have useful. And that's kind of the one type of limbo. And I feel like the other type of limbo is not feeling like you have a direction at all, and just kind of being in that state of you maybe feel something is coming, or you feel that you need a change, but you don't know what that change is going to be. So whether or not you know what is coming, you do feel like you're in that in-between stage of at a certain point there's going to be a distinct before and a distinct after. And this year in general, I've talked about this, but it's just been my challenge in life to try to view everything as more sacred, try to view everything as an opportunity to grow and learn. And I'm also just using my Lawless lip gloss for lip prep because it's a very hydrating gloss. And let's get started on this eye look while I talk about this. So I'm going to take my Lily by Red Ash Mauve or Mood Keyboard palette in Ash Mauve. This is a K-Beauty palette I've been loving. And I'm going to do kind of like a transitional shade just in the crease. So I've made it my goal in 2025 really to just try and view everything as an opportunity, as sacred. I really have a habit just with my personality type and having ADHD of getting overly stressed about things and creating problems where I don't think there really needs to be problems. And so I really have made it my goal this year to really be rooted in my life, because I've realized that a lot of the problems that are in my head, they're not actually happening in my reality. It's something that I'm either worried hasn't happened or worried is going to happen, and it's rarely ever actually rooted in my true reality. And I feel like that's true for a lot of us. Just anxiety is rooted in the things that most of the time haven't happened. So in this challenge of trying to view everything as more sacred, instead of kind of framing this as, oh, I'm lost and directionless, and I've kind of tried to frame it as this sacred in-between is what I've been considering this time. It's a sacred in-between because everything is sacred. And so even if you're in an in-between stage in life, that can still be sacred and beautiful and meaningful. And I kind of thought about it as like a cocoon. It's like the chrysalis stage. Like transformation can be happening, but it just may not be visible in your external world yet. And that's okay. I think there's a lot of stages to transformation that we disregard because we do kind of think about the stark before and afters of things, and we kind of forget that a lot more of the sacred in between goes into that. Okay, now I'm taking kind of like a smaller blending brush and just going in with a little bit darker of a color and doing this. I'll have to find it and tag it, but it's like a soft glam eye tutorial that I saw that I've been copying, and she takes that like transitional shade and then she takes a little darker and just like kind of goes out like that. So some of the things that I feel like I've been working on in this sacred in-between is, even if I'm not exactly sure what I want for this next stage, I'm trying to think about what do I want to release, because I do think releasing the old is just as important as calling in the new. And I think another way to consider that is just recognizing what you've outgrown. And I'm taking an even smaller blending brush and doing this little darker of a color. So I feel like for me right now, I've been thinking about, what have I outgrown? Okay, well, I've outgrown overcomplicating my purpose. I've outgrown viewing myself through the lens of my accomplishments. I think my husband and I have outgrown this house, space-wise, realistically. And I've been thinking about those things that I've outgrown, but also sending kind of like a form of gratitude to those things too, because it can be that was also a chrysalis stage for where you're at now. And it's okay to evolve without sending negativity to the things that got you there, right? Like even if now it's something that you can recognize you don't want to be a part of your life anymore, it doesn't mean that it never served a purpose in terms of your growth. Okay, now I'm taking kind of a flat brush and the lightest shade in the palette and kind of gonna blend that into the inner corner of the eye. So that's something I think about. It's releasing and releasing control, but in a way that you're still grounded in gratitude for the things that you've gone through and experienced. And then I think the next thing of this limbo is also, now I'm taking the other side of the flat brush and going in with just a little bit deeper of a color, so like the second lightest color in the palette, and kind of patting that over the middle of the lid. I'm doing eyes first so that it will be easier to clean up with concealer. Okay, now I'm taking that first blending brush and just really kind of blending everything together. Now I can take kind of this smudgy brush in the kind of deepest shade in the palette and do a little bit of like an eyeliner moment. So the next part of this, I feel like for me, is instead of focusing on, if you can't yet picture what exactly you want in specific for this next phase of your life, and you feel like you can't be specific yet, something that's been very helpful for me is just thinking about, what do I want to feel in this next chapter of my life? Or what values do I want to be anchored in? I think if you are in any state of limbo, something that can always anchor you is your values. What do you value? Because even if you don't know exactly what your next step is, that is such a guiding force for your life, is what you value. So I think really anchoring yourself in what it is that you value is so helpful in directing your next steps. Hey, now that's the finished eye look, and I feel like it's very like soft glam, but every day it's like not too much. And I need to find the tutorial because it was kind of a low-key life-changing tutorial for me, because I've always been so bad at eyeshadow and I've wanted to get better at it, and that just helped me because eyeshadow is so fun to play with. I feel like so much of makeup is the ritual of it, and eyeshadow you can really take your time, and I feel like that's a place where you can be a little extra creative and unique with it. Now I'm gonna do my Rare Beauty eyebrow gel. So speaking of values and ritual, that's something that I feel like really relates to one another. And in this specific state of limbo for me, ritual has been the most important thing, because this is kind of silly, but I also saw a podcast that I need to listen to, but it was talking about how to use ChatGPT for like your wisdom and mental health. And I have definitely unknowingly been using AI for that reason, just as kind of like a mental health support. And I want to make a video about like the prompts and what ChatGPT has said and how I've been able to implement those things into my life and how it's been helpful, so that we can utilize AI in a positive way, because it's the direction that our world is heading in. But I was kind of talking to ChatGPT about being in limbo, and one of the things that stuck with me was, it said, what would it feel like to believe this moment is meaningful? I was kind of taken aback by that. I was like, whoa, yeah, that really shifts things into perspective. All those little moments throughout our days, I'm just going to use my inner eye, what's this called? Eyeliner. All those moments in our days that maybe we don't call attention to, that we just kind of let pass by, if we were to be a little more cognizant of even some of those moments through our day and ask ourselves that question, what would it feel like to believe that this moment is meaningful? And just explore that. I think that's such a direct path to making those moments meaningful. I mean, I hope that's something that I can convey with this channel in general, is just beauty as a ritual, ritual as self-love, self-love as a form of getting yourself to a place where you don't feel like it's all about you, because you're secure in yourself, so that you can go out and impact the world or nurture relationships and put something out there that's beneficial. Okay, now we can move on to the base, and I'm just gonna do this Lumi Glotion in the shade Light. It's just the most beautiful base product to exist. And I've been a big fan of the K. Jane Hughes Concealer Last. So we're going to now go in with the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer, which is my holy grail. Every time I think that I can not have this in my collection, I'm wrong. And this is the shade Light Medium. I do feel like you can go deeper than you think with this because it's so sheer. Now this blush that I've been loving is the new Say Dew Blush in the shade Lady. This is one of their new shades. And this is like, I honestly probably have like 5 variations of this color in different formulas, different brands. And I'll never stop because this is my perfect everyday blush shade. It's like that perfect rosy, kind of neutral I have very neutral skin, so I feel like things either pull very cool or very warm on me. Also, I've been diving deep into color analysis stuff, and I truly cannot figure out what I am because I'm neutral. I feel like a lot of the categories kind of rely on you being either really warm or really cool. So if anyone has experience with color analysis. Okay, now I kind of go over everything with that beauty blender. And here's where we go in with concealer. Take my little concealer brush to coat in the product and focus on where I want the most coverage first. And I gotta kind of clean up that eyeshadow. So talking about being in limbo and creating meaning in the everyday, I really do feel like rituals is such a huge part of it. And I also feel like beyond rituals, another thing that helps a lot when fear comes up, like just fear of being in the in-between state, is shifting into curiosity and surrender. And that doesn't mean being passive about things. I think to me more curiosity is just kind of a form of getting out of that anxious space. Instead of deciding what something means, kind of being curious about, I wonder what that means for my life, or I wonder what's gonna happen next. Like kind of trying to have a sense of wonderment with it. And I also think creating rituals around your values or around something you're trying to attract into your life. So if you, for example, if you like want clarity about what's next, sitting down with a cup of tea or coffee and journaling or envisioning what you're letting go, because I think you can only have clarity for what's coming if you clear space for that in your life by letting go of certain things. So that's what I'm doing here now. That's what I use beauty for, is I use it as a ritual to adorn myself with care and show myself that I'm worth the time spent, and you are also worth that time and that attention. The rest too. And I think about when I'm older and I'm looking back on my life, do I want to only envision all of the big things I accomplished and have the thought that I was miserable in between it all? No, I want to think that I lived every day with intention, even if nothing huge or crazy or quote unquote noteworthy was going on, and that I made every day special and every day sacred. And that's what I want to believe about myself when I look back on my life. So I think when you're in limbo and you're struggling with that, just thinking about creating meaning in the smallest of things and how that will serve you in the long run. Okay, also now we're done with all the or all the cream products, and now we're gonna go in and set with the powder. So I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury and take the Sculpt side of the Bronze and Glow Duo. And I love using this bronzer to set my cream products. Now I'm going to use my Say powder blush, which I've been loving this too. This was also in my May favorites video. It is the best, and I have a few colors. Mia is more of like my everyday color, and I also have Bella that's more of like a bright baby pink. I do kind of like to do a dusting of my setting powder, my Kosas setting powder. I'm going to use my Tier setting spray. My Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions mascara. Finishing touches, Peptide Lip Shape, of course. My Rhode Peptide Lip Tint to top it all off. And that is my current favorite everyday makeup routine that I have been loving, and that's just been my ritual. That's been my me time. So thank you so much for spending the time with me and maybe getting ready with me or just hanging out. And I hope you'll like and subscribe and come back to hang out with me again in the future. And I hope you have a beautiful day.